Hello again, guys, and welcome to another episode of On the Range podcast with Warhog Tactical and Kelley Defense. I am Mark Kelley, and joined as always with my co-host and friend Rick Hogg. How's it going, pal?
Man, Mark, it is going great. Just want to thank the viewers, listeners out there for giving us your most precious commodity, your time to tune in. For any of you listening, depending if you're trying to reach out, do whatever do to spend a traveling road show. So just got back in town, so we opted, hey, let's grab a show and get that knocked out. But you know what? If you guys would sign up for the newsletter at either warhog.com or kelleydefense.com, you guys would already know that. So I wouldn't be telling you anything new. And oh yeah, by the way, if you're part of our Patreon group at patreon.com/on the range podcast, you know about it there as well. And don't forget OTR Training on Demand, another place where you can get some training videos. But really, the thing, guys, is on our Patreon. It's a place where me and Mark do a bi-monthly Zoom call with you, the patrons, interactive, ask questions, get 1% better. We hit all different topics, what are we up to? 60 some odd videos, training videos now, Mark?
Yeah,
We hit the
yeah,
60
over
mark.
60. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a bunch of videos on there. Again, just stuff to make yourself 1% better, and super excited about the LE. And I think we'll probably dig more into that during the episode here. But we've got a LE specific portion for law enforcement patrons on there as well. So
Yeah,
man.
yeah, for sure, man. The Patreon group is a lot of fun. We got a call coming up this Tuesday, the 6th,
Mm-hmm.
4 p.m. Standard or Eastern Standard Time. So you can go to the website. You don't have to be a Patreon even. If you just want to check it out, go to our websites and check out the online events. Go ahead and book yourself a ticket to that and join in and have some fun. Like you said, we always talk about the 1% better every day be 1% better every day. And we talk about that pretty much at length last week, but we always touch on that a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. And we had some stories from the Patreons who were really seeing the benefits of it, and they were
Mm-hmm.
also holding themselves a little bit more accountable, and it really paid dividends when they ran into a situation. One of them ran into a situation where they had to step up, and he was all over it, and
Mm-hmm.
prioritize his stuff and still continued to do what he needed to do. Just a great story, and those are happening every time we meet. And not only that, we have the monthly. Now, last month got messed up because of the holiday, but we have our monthly shooting contest. They're always gunning for Rick and I to try to to beat us. And man, they're getting really good, and we got to up
Yeah.
our game, make sure we keep our skills going. But that's a lot of fun as well. People
Mm-hmm.
post and go
Yeah.
back and forth on it. Just a great group of international like-minded folks. And you're right, we're going to talk about the LE only Patreon membership. So yeah, I tell
Mm-hmm.
you what, I want to make sure before we forget that we talk about what you just got back from, so we can cover that and get some of that other house cleaning out, because there's a lot of good stuff that happened this weekend with Rick at Panteo in Swansea, South Carolina.
Yeah, so we ended up we'll be having another instructional DVD coming out, or instructional video. So this one here is Make Ready with Warhog Tactical Combat Carbine. Be 1% better every single day.
Yeah.
Or actually every day, but not every single day, but every day. So yeah, maybe plug that single.
Get the
1%
copyright
better
correct. Yeah.
every single day. Stands more juice, man. No, but we recorded, we were down there recording for 2 days. And it was the first time I'd done an instructional video where we had the book completed. So what we do, because if you look at my my other videos I had done, we had talked about the notebook, and you might even see a picture of me standing there, like writing in my hand, like mimicking the notebook. Or I think I even showed the one I was using at the time. I didn't dig into it and show kind of how I broke everything down. It was just still bringing up the notebook part. This one here, the firearms training notebook, is an integral part of this instructional video.
Yeah.
So, you'll see the Warhawk self eval shot again, and I won't let any cats out of the bag. New rifle, new setup, new some things, no excuses, right? But it just showed me, hey, there's some things I need to tweak because I wasn't quite prepped the way I wanted to be. So, and that's okay. We'll make our adjustments, we'll get better and we'll work through it. So, But if I was doing, low ready, single shot, ready up drill, dude, we kind of explained it, demoed it, and then, oh, by the way, put it on the time. So every single thing we did, we were trying to capture data and trying to go, hey, this is why I'm doing this, or here's how to do that, or whatever the case may be. So super excited for that to come out. Not sure. Because again, we're got to get edited. Um, things got to, DVDs got to get burned. They can do all their kind of backside admin stuff beforehand. So if it's not out at the very end of the month, it'll definitely be out the first of the year. So,
Yeah.
And then with that, if you're looking for a streaming subscription or annual subscription over to Panteo, Warhog 30 will save you 30% on that one. So if you opt to buy the DVD outright, if you opt to stream it, just know that Warhog 30 is a, little discount you can use to save you a couple bucks on that, and then just not have access to me, but access to like 60 other instructors.
Yeah.
That's in the Panteo stable. So no, super excited on that. We'll probably try to do a couple more videos again next year. Everything's just time and trying to get things lined up and allocated. But yeah, super excited about this one. Make Ready Warhog Tactical Combat Carbine, be 1% better every day. Incorporation of the firearms training notebook in there. There's a chapter in there where we actually dig we go a little more in depth on the book, how it's kind of broken down. So, if you're sitting there watching, go, hey, what's this firearms training notebook you guys are talking about? Boom, there's a whole chapter. We'll probably have a new product video that will be about, I think, 15 minutes where we really get in there and dig, really get in the book, kind of lay some things out. So super excited for all that stuff. So definitely stay tuned. And more exciting news to follow on some other endeavors we got going on.
Yeah. Super excited about the chapter covering the book. It's going to lay out a lot of things. And a lot of the other instructional videos that you've done and that anybody else has done, really, they're all awesome on Panteo. They have a really good, solid group of guys on there and gals, and the content is great. As Rick is pointing out, the firearms training notebook. Yeah, it's always got to be there.
But I got the firearms training notebook. We got the concealed carry. We got the practice to protect. We got the double pack there. So the one we don't have is the law enforcement pistol one, but
yeah. So the great series of videos that they got going on with Rick and Warhog Tactical, and now the book's involved. Super excited about that. And there's going to be some marketing pieces with that, with the book being involved as well. So stay tuned. And the nice thing about it, that's really not that bad of a turnaround. It's really not. I mean, once they get that thing edited, and you're going to be able to stream that thing and get a subscription to Panteo Productions fairly quick, I would think. And then if you're old school, and I like the DVDs myself, that's just me. But those will be coming, right behind that. So super excited about that. And we want to kind of talk about that again, but I want to make sure we hit this. We had mentioned the webinars. The webinars are up. We've already had folks sign up for our very first webinar, the Project Officer Survival webinar. And there's a lot of other stuff that's not just law enforcement only. There's going to be a lot of good stuff in that entire series of events that we're doing online. And we kind of wanted to touch on that because I think the book, the webinars, all these other things, these online events that we're working towards, working those things out and getting those things out to people, we're getting a lot of questions about that. We're getting a lot of people asking about the webinars, the online events, and start talking about where that all kind of came from and where we're going with it and what was the spark and that kind of thing. So I'd like to kind of go into that before we, just close the book on Swansea and some of the other stuff that Panteo's doing.
Yeah, I mean, really, Mark, it was, how do we increase our reach? How do we get our message out to more people? And here's the bottom line. We're just two guys. We can't be all over the country all the time. So it was like, hey, why don't we do a webinar to try to get the word out to the masses as far as what we're doing. Hey, here's our philosophy as far as the things we're doing training wise. And it kind of really what the driving factor was. I think we were having a conversation one day. Um, and if you remember, one of the free LEO trainings I did down in South Carolina, I had one of the officers ask me when we were doing the t-shirt drill, "Hey, how come we're not doing this?" And I'm like, "I don't know, dude. I'm not your training guy." So, but it was a huge takeaway. I mean, pretty much the t-shirt thing, these guys, it adds that added layer to realism to the range. So how do we try to get the message out there? How do we convey to these guys, this is our thought process when we look at specifically law enforcement firearms training?
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we saying? What are we teaching to have these guys be able to come home at night? And to me, it was, I don't want to say it was a no brainer, but it was one of those that it's like we have these epiphany moments, kind of like with the notebook. Why don't we think of this earlier?
Right.
Well, that's just life's running. You don't sit there and I'm not going to say I didn't know about webinars. Yeah. I mean, everyone's doing webinars. Like, well, why can't we do a webinar? Why can't we get the word out there that this is what we're doing? This is kind of our training philosophy for the first one, and really dig into the LEOs to, hey man, how do you make yourself 1% better when you're looking at your overall firearms training plan?
Yeah.
And let's think about it, Mark. We can be here on the East Coast. We can talk all over the world. It just doesn't have to be here in the US. We get an
Yeah.
officer from somewhere else that wants to tune in. By all means. Think about it. We had those two officers from Queensland, Australia come out and see us in Muscatatuck.
Yeah.
Dude, if they want to dial in, dial in.
Yeah.
So I can't just fly to Australia and teach some dudes over there, but that's the beauty. It gives us a global reach to hit our LEOs and add survivability, so they come home to their
Yeah.
families.
Yeah. And they became aware of us through the podcast because they listened to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
someone coming to you and saying, making a remark like that about, well, how come we haven't done something like this? Why would we not be doing this? Those are those moments where you're like, oh my goodness, we've got to get this material in different mediums so that we can, in
Mm-hmm.
different ways, so that we can push it out in front of other folks, not just the officers and the folks who are coming to our open enrollments. We got to get it to as many people as we can, because
Mm-hmm.
that's a very valid question. Why aren't we doing this drill in our law enforcement training? Very valid. Well, I can sit here and explain it to him all I want, or her all I want, but if it's not going to be getting in front of the person that we need it to get in front of so that they start adopting that mindset or that particular task or drill into the regimen, they're just going to keep doing the same stuff. And some of that stuff might be something that we're trying to avoid teaching. Those
Yeah.
training scars and that kind of thing. I don't necessarily like that term, but yeah. And it's a great point, because we can be in all around the world, all around the country, sitting from these desks and get out some really good material, and all people got to do is sign up. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to do. That was the big reason, because I know what the concern was. Well, when are you going to come around with your open enrollments? Are you coming back to Ohio? Are you coming back to North Carolina? Those things are going to be impacted. And we talked about that right before we came on pre-production. Those things are going to be impacted a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, 2023 is going to be a busy year, without a doubt. And I don't say this in a bad way. I just say it in a practicality way. Our men and women in law enforcement are being flat out murdered out there and are undertrained. If we can sit there and help them guys out, whether it's physically on the range, whether it's via a webinar, whether it's them getting a copy of the firearms training notebook and enhancing their training, we're just trying to make it where people come back to their families. Let's be an honest broker, in a country that's not all that safe. You know, we've got 5 million plus individuals that have crossed the border. There's another million gotaways. Well, let's think about it. It's a million cats with ill intent, in my opinion. But you don't want to get caught, short. So we're seeing it more, there's more hatred, anger, violence, whatever you want to say, towards our law enforcement officers. Let's do everything we can to protect them.
Yeah.
The open enrollment classes, they'll still be there. You
Yep.
just have to, I gave you a prime example. I had an individual, granted, South Carolina, had one of my students this weekend, came up from Florida, about a 5-6 hour drive. You might have to put some hours on the road to get some training, but get you the training you need. And, just make it that, God forbid, violence ever shows up, you can deal with it appropriately.
Yeah. And, that was the question that would come up through, our DMs and that kind of thing, emails, through social media, websites. What was driving this pivot? And it's not a great big pivot, because we've done free law enforcement events, training events. We've done them, done several of them, as a matter of fact. We're just finding a way to be able to continue to do those, just more so in a much more efficient manner in different parts of the country, instead of the places where we know we'll get the support. So what we're going to be doing with this project is just spreading that out. They're going to be a lot more frequent. Now, in a perfect world, we're going to try to do open enrollments in conjunction with those travel points, those waypoints. Hopefully that'll work out. But again, they're still going to be there. They just may be in conjunction with what we're doing in other events. So it's not going to, we may not be hitting the same places that we would hit in the past, and we would come back to, and you can count on us coming back every year. It may not happen like that anymore. So it's important for folks who are looking for training. Like you said, if you have to make that journey for 5 hours and you want to train with us, or you want to go through one of these courses, you have to take advantage of them when they're open and make sure that you sign up.
Yeah. And Mark, I want to hit one key thing. I think pivot is a bad choice of words.
Okay.
It's not a pivot. No, it's an expansion. Right? So if we were pivoting, we would be, I don't know, going maybe down the all digital route. But it's not a pivot, it's an expansion. So if you want to sit there and say, hey, the foundation is law enforcement firearms training, making these guys better. Okay. Well, we wrote the firearms training notebook. Is that a pivot? No, that's just an addition too, right? It's another tool in their toolbox to make them better. All right, we're looking to do the webinar. Is that a pivot? Nope. It's just another tool to reach more people. So I don't think it's a pivot at all. If we opted to go, hey, we're going to make a piece of kit specific for LEOs, that would be a pivot, in my opinion. So I think this is just an expansion.
Well, the webinars and the online events, the book, all these things, I think they're pretty much being driven, like you said, by the same thing. But what we're talking about is going and really ramping up the law enforcement aspect of what we do. Make sure that we get in front of as many of those officers that we can, and in different mediums as we can. And I'm really excited about it. And there's all kinds of things we have to do to make those things happen, but it's not that big of a deal. But it's going to start coming, and it's going to start coming out quick. The book was kind of the same way. Once we had that idea and we kind of knew where we were going to go with it, it was just figuring out how to get it out there. And I think that's kind of what we're dealing with right now. It really is. How's it going to work? That kind of thing. How do guys and gals sign up? And I'm really looking forward to it. The law enforcement stuff too, as well. Guys and gals in law enforcement, if there's open enrollments, reach out to us first, and then we'll see what we can do. If you didn't get a spot or whatever, we'll see what we can do. If there's any way that we can help anybody in the law enforcement community, we're going to do it. We're just going to do it. And we honestly, we do that with our open enrollment as well. If we can squeeze someone in, we squeeze them in. We don't ever like to turn anybody away. We've had to do that when we just had a flood of people wanting to go to a couple of the courses, but we do a real good job at that. But especially if we can help out a law enforcement officer, we're going to do that as well. So you can't get too
Mhm.
frustrated, but at the same time, like Rick said, you might have to travel a little bit more to some of these things, but we don't know how it's all going to shake out.
Yeah. But here's the thing. It's going to be a great ride.
Oh man.
Why? Why? Because we got us some canine products. We got the
Yes.
In Honor of Duco Loop Leash. We got the Boar Dog CBD. And we got all kinds of stuff going on, man.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I saw the
and
banner.
those aren't,
Turned out pretty badass, by the
uh,
way.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. And that's not a pivot either. That's just an
No.
expansion. You know, we are not pivoting away from the training side. We're just enhancing the things that we can offer. So,
I could always use some
and it
enhancing.
boils down. That's it. That's it. That's what it is. You know, need some enhancement?
Oh yeah.
Bam. So,
Yeah. No, man. Looking forward to that this coming Tuesday, the 6th. We got that first online event that it's open to
mhm,
everybody. The Patreon folks will be there. Got to take advantage of it. Go to the websites, sign up for it. The webinars, that's going to be awesome. I'm trying to think if
mhm.
there's anything else that we need to talk about before we move on to something else. But I know
I
you
think
were.
we're,
I think we pretty much covered everything. I think we pretty much
yeah,
covered it. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
the first LEO thing I think that we're probably going to be going to next year, and there could be more. It's already sold out. It's already booked. But
hmm
if you go to the websites, go to warhog.com and kellydefense.com, you can sign up. There's a pistol day on the 25th of
hmm
March in Ohio, and there's also a rifle day, open enrollment. Guys and
Yeah.
gals, guys and gals, I'm telling you, it's going to fill up. We've been saying this for the last when we announced it a couple weeks ago. We're really pushing the Swansea thing. We wanted that to be a good event for you and Warhawk
hmm
Tactical and hey, big shout out to Dr. Jason Piccolo, author. Going to be
Yep.
some social media coming out on that, and he's a great writer, um, and you know he does a lot of good stuff. He was there and put some pretty
hmm
good video together, man. Man, he was burning it down, bro. He was
Oh,
burning it
dude.
down. It was good. He looked
Yeah.
great, man.
It,
That was a lot of fun.
Jason, yeah, Jason was doing good. Here's the thing. Jason's biggest thing is, 30 years of federal service and kind of getting taught some rubbish, right? Not that his skills aren't there, but just some of the finite things that these other places aren't covering.
Yeah,
And it's like, hey, man, we're just trying to be as efficient and effective as we can. And I mean, if you're efficient in your movements, the rest of it all come together. If you can sit
yeah,
there and, get your shots where you need to get your shots. He was really digging the t-shirt drill.
good.
And yeah, his was a prime example. I actually used his shirt as the example in class. Because again, when we put the t-shirt over the target, was he hitting center mass? He was. But then when you lifted up the shirt and saw kind of the anatomy target behind it, shots weren't really where they needed to be. And
Yeah,
it was a big eye opener for him. We gave him a little bit of information on how to fix that, and you could see the two distinct shot groups. And that's
yeah,
just one of the things we do in all the classes. Is
yeah.
it's on the packing list. Bring a shirt you can shoot. And here's the thing for my LEO guys, check it out. Find something other than Dare shirts. We we see them bad boys all the time. Um, although I think one guy,
Just say no.
what-
We had
yeah, just
Nancy
so you know,
Nancy Reagan era Dare shirts at the one in Ohio. Remember that one? They really went
yeah, oh yeah,
back into the freaking
dude,
attic to get that bad boy.
and and then I think somebody brought their old Academy shirt, and somehow by shooting that, got some closure to their scars of you know going to
Yeah.
BLET or whatever they're doing. It's just it's funny. But when the Dare shirts come out, you just got to chuckle because somebody was like, "Ooh, I forgot," or they pulled them out of the back of the car or wherever they got them at. But
Yeah, you see
yeah,
old boy walk up and he ain't got no t-shirt on underneath his rain shirt. Hey, what's up, man? I didn't have, I forgot. Remember when the one kid
yeah.
took, he's like, hey, it was like some kind of a concert t-shirt. So the kid
Oh, he
took off
swapped it
his
out
shirt
with
so
old
he
boy.
could, so he
Yeah,
could keep it, so he didn't
yeah,
shoot it up.
yeah.
He was a funny kid, man. I think he was in St. Louis. That was
Uh,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah. Good crew
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah. You know what else is awesome? It is the holidays coming up. It is the holidays, and I don't know if I can read this one out loud without keeping a straight face. I just don't know if I can do it. I'm not that good.
I think
Hey, you,
I think you can.
you think I can?
I think you can.
Okay. It go here. Okay. I know I have a microphone in front of me, and I know I have a face for radio, but a voice for print. So here we go. 'Tis the season for clean balls. Fa la 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 la. I didn't think I could make it through that, but I did.
You did good, buddy.
Our friends at Manscaped are helping you keep your driveway safe for travels this holiday season. From stocking stuffers to white elephant gifts, Manscaped's products are at the top of everyone's wish list. We've said it. Santa takes care of his sack. You might as well take care of yours. So make sure you go to manscaped.com. Use the promo code OTR20. Manscaped is a big supporter. They love the OTR universe. They have a lot of great products. They've sent us some stuff, full disclosure, but I got to tell you, if you have not experienced the Lawnmower 4.0, you are certainly missing out. Certainly missing out. Do yourself a favor. Do your friends a favor. And ladies, do the man in your life a favor. Do yourself a favor and get him these products. I'm telling you. If you got nasty nose hairs, you look like a party favor every time you're walking around or you breathing. Use the Weed Whacker. Put it in your shed, the bag that they get you. If you get the 4.0 performance package, it's their premier package. Like I said, it's a great gift. There's still plenty of time, and there's no reason why you should pay retail. Go to manscaped.com, use the promo code OTR20, save yourself a boatload of cash this holiday season, 20%, and get free shipping. They do a good job on their marketing, man.
Yeah, buddy.
That'd be a fun job.
And
How
here's
can
the thing.
We need to get some marketing guys like that.
Yeah, we got to come up with some jolly rhymes, But here's the thing, Mark. I got to throw a bone to him, right? Like the Weed Whacker.
Oh man,
you don't think I was using that thing knowing I was going to be in front of camera? Just make sure all that stuff's cleaned up. You don't want to know. Hey, what's going on out there? So,
dude,
yeah,
like
buddy.
who washed the dog in the sink? After you use that weed whacker on my nose and ears, man. Hey, who put the dog in the sink? Oh, geez. Yeah. Great products.
Crazy.
Great supporter of the show.
Yeah,
Love
man.
those guys and gals over there at Manscaped. So, yeah, the events for the law enforcement, we're super excited about that. But those online or the open enrollments, we got to make sure that we can't say it enough, guys and gals. You've got to sign up. You're going to miss it because we don't know where we're going to go back to these mainstays that we've been hitting all these years. We know we've been hitting Southern Indiana, Middle Ohio, Fayetteville, Swansea. Where else have we gone? St. Louis. We've hit all these places. We don't know if we're going to make it back for open enrollment. Oh yeah, I know what you're going to say.
So I know.
Pennsylvania.
I haven't. I got to do some updating on the website. There'll be some stuff in North Carolina. Obviously, this is open enrollment stuff.
Oh, good.
I think we'll have some. Yeah, we'll have some stuff planned out in Tennessee. Still trying to wait for a couple other places to get back. So yeah, dude, it's like you said. The biggest thing is just piggybacking off of other places we're going and just figuring out from there. So, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Had to unmute myself. I usually do that so I'm not hacking and coughing and slurping while Rick's talking. I gotta work on my mic craft a little bit. So
I leave mine wide open.
Yeah, you just let it ride. I got you. Mark will get it in post-production. Nah, man. The open enrollment stuff, all come out. But we were talking about the not so much of a pivot, but the expansion of the law enforcement programs that we're doing. And we had another question about how the book came along, and no one else is doing it, and that's why I think they were curious about it. Well, it really came along that Rick and I have always been pushing the notebook. Really, Rick brought it to the forefront, even though I was doing it, and most the folks that we were working with had dabbled in it. I know your group of guys that you worked with were doing it quite a bit, but they weren't really talking about it. I don't think it was because they were assuming that everybody was doing it. I just assumed that nobody was doing it. And then when you and I started talking
Mm-hmm.
about, hey, do you have a notebook? Oh yeah, I got a little thing I write down. That's kind of how it all started. And we always told people, and we always brought it up in our classes. And then one day, Rick and I were talking. I was in the line at the coffee shop, and I'm like, dude, I got an idea. And we kind of started from there. And we were thinking about doing an electronic or an app or something of that nature. And then you said, hey, why don't we just do, instead of the drill thing and putting on videos on the app, why don't we just do a notebook? And I said, well, why don't we just print one? Why don't we just, can we do that? Do you have
Mm-hmm.
anything? And then we started working on it. That's how it happened. But
Yep.
what drove us was really military and law enforcement. It was.
Mm-hmm.
That was the main thing. The second thing was to demonstrate to folks who really don't realize that progression is hard to spot if you don't have a starting point in the civilian world. That was our second. They don't even know what we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about. So if you can kind of talk about that a little bit, it was a great moment, and that's when that really took off. And that, in what, 3 weeks later, it was in print.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, between us going back and forth, kind of tweaking the final what we wanted. But man, I've been talking about notebooks and I've had notebooks for eons now, right? It was because you would always have either time drills, skill drills, whatever you want to say. Well,
Yeah,
how do I know?
dope books for rifles.
Yeah, yeah, you know. Um, but specifically looking at a firearms training notebook, if I sit there and go, all right, let's say I'm trying to make standard X. So, um, within special forces, kind of, the combat marksmanship program, you've got what's called CTEs or critical task evaluations. Well, they're just, it's like a course of fire. Nothing super crazy, long drawn out, but a quick, hey man, two targets, two on one, two on the other. I think 3 out of the 4 A zone, however it was graded at X amount of time. All right. Well, I know the standard. Where am I sitting at? What are my times? Where am I at? And like I said, that shoddy old pack pro timer I got that's probably 30 years old or close there too, still running. Granted, the audible beeps a little different. That was like my original pack pro timer. Why? Because it was that important. I mean, you got to have a way to track time and track your progress. Um, Fast forward retirement, we start asking, both open enrollment and mill elite guys at that point, hey man, do you guys have a training notebook? I'm like, nope. And it's funny because like the K9 guys, probably out of everybody, they can relate the best. And Jason did a great post because we had a K9 officer this weekend, and it was like talking about the firearms training notebook because, oh, by the way, we incorporate it in all the classes now. And I'll get more into that here in a minute. But I'm like, hey, dude, you've got a logbook or a notebook for dog training. Where's yours? And I think those guys really, they get it because they're used to annotating what they're doing with their dog. So now you're just trying to expand and go, how do we get the word out to the masses? How do we sit there and go, hey guys, this is what you do to make yourself a little better? Because nobody has any tangibles. Um, you ask most guys, hey, what's your draw to first shot time? They have no idea. Oh, where's your starting point then? It and like I say, it doesn't matter what your time is. This is your firearms journey. It's your journey. How are you making yourself 1% better every single day? You can have goals, don't get me wrong, but where you start at and how well you can accelerate, I mean, that's going to be on you as far as how much time you got, how much you're really diagnosing, and then, oh, by the way, having a plan. So it doesn't matter live fire or dry fire. If I was going to do whatever, I'm just not going to the range with a bucket of bullets and going, we'll just make some noise. No, I'm looking to accomplish task X today, work on drill Y. And sometimes it's just, I can go there with a loose plan. Hey, I'm going to run my rifle today, but I'm going to open some things up or change some variables I still know what I'm doing. So let's say I'm going to work on, excuse me, I should have hit my mute button, but I didn't. Um, but let's say I want to work on um, my rifle speed magazine change. Maybe I want to sit there and go, all right, I'm going to sit there and run my sling at 3 different points on my rail just to get a feel where I like, where's the best point that works for me. It's a plan. Yes, I'm extrapolating some data, but I'm also changing some variables. So as long as there's nothing wrong with that either. Or you may sit there and go, some people have this novel concept of, oh, I've got to keep my pad, that's the only portion that can touch the trigger. Well, if you opt to go out and go, hey, man, let me jam some more finger in there to change up some variables, and you're still shooting some drills, kind of doing a time comparison or maybe accuracy comparison, there's nothing wrong with that. But as long as you got a plan for what you're doing. How many times we've gone out to the range and guys are just out there blazing? You're like,
Yeah.
what you doing? I'm getting some. We're getting
Yeah.
some of what?
Yeah.
They got nothing.
Yeah.
So we had, if you remember right, I think one of the episodes we did a while back, or we were doing something where we were talking about 50 rounds, 50 bullets.
Yeah. It
If
was
you
where we were
only
talking
had,
about how officers only get a certain number of bullets, and sometimes it's only
Mhm.
50 a year. There was a cat that had 50 bullets a year that he was given to train on his own.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So put yourself in that perspective. And I'm not saying you only need to take 50 rounds to the range, but think about, this is your only 50 bullets you have. You're going to sit there and go, every time I press that trigger for a live fire drill, I want to know exactly what I'm doing. I want to
Yeah.
know exactly, I want to get the best bang for my buck. And I think the notebook kind of does that in a roundabout way, where you can actually plan out your training session, live or dry, and then just take it from there.
Yeah. And I think so moving on to, what sparked the book, what sparked us to really push forward the law enforcement programs. We were having a conversation earlier in the fall, and it was about how can we have more stuff out there for LEOs. And I think a lot of it was, should we do another event? Because I think we just came off of the American Tactical Canine, and
Mm-hmm.
we were ramping up, and we were really starting to get that content from that and some of the other stuff that we had done into the Patreon group. So then Rick had the idea and said, hey, why don't we do something for our men and women in law enforcement and do it on the Patreon group? And that's when
Mm-hmm.
that really started that. So then we start thinking, hey, man, what else can we do with this platform, Patreon stuff, and then opening up to everybody to be able to attend in webinars? And that's how that happened. And one
Mm-hmm.
of the big things were, man, the questions we were getting, or some of the conversations or our Zoom calls. Are you afraid someone's going to take that? Are you afraid that, are they going to criticize you with it? Are they going to make fun of it? I haven't heard any of that stuff. I haven't heard
Mm-mm.
anybody say that it's a horrible idea to go out and buy or use the firearms training notebook. Not one.
No, but you bring up a great point, Mark, right? There's a lot of people out there who will not do something because in the back of their mind, they're afraid of the criticism they're going to get. Hey, here's the deal. I don't care. You know what? You don't like it? Fine. You're entitled to your opinion. But that's sure not going to hinder me from doing whatever it is I want to do.
No way.
And no, but it's a critical point, because there are so many people who don't do whatever that is because they're afraid of that criticism from others. Now, is it one thing for somebody just to sit there and go, that's the dumbest thing ever, right? There comes a point where, hey, if we're running ideas back and forth between each other, going, yeah, but I just don't think that's going to work. And um, it's not being negative to him. It's just looking at it from a business type standpoint. Yeah, I don't see that working.
Yeah.
But then when you have something out there, or you sit there and go, man, hey, Mark, you think they're going to say anything about us doing a webinar? Who cares?
Can you imagine us
Right?
having that
Hey,
conversation?
yeah. Hey, do you think I look fat in this picture on the cover of the book? I don't know if I want to put it out there. Who cares?
I know.
Right?
No.
But or I think we're technically dubbed a low content um a low content book.
Well,
What's
I'm a
what's that little buzzword?
I'm a low content individual.
No, stop it. What isn't that what it's called? Low content?
Yeah, low content is
I'm trying to think.
basically things that you would consider not a novel and not
Right.
necessarily just blank pages. It's something that most of the things are activities with a little bit of direction and
Yeah,
content, that kind of thing. So that it is considered a low content book, even though there's quite a bit, several pages in there of
sure.
print. Yeah.
But here's my point. It's like, oh, you're just a low content author. I don't care. Right? If this tool will make one person better, success.
Yeah.
If it makes more people, great. But if you can reach just one, and oh, by the way, that time they put in, whether it was live or dry fire training, brings them home to their family, all worth it.
Yeah.
Take your criticism and go, do whatever with it. But here's the beauty. Here's the beauty, right? Some people will say, when people try to steal your stuff, that's when you've made it, right? You've heard that old analogy, right? So when somebody starts ripping off your stuff, we were 3 weeks out of the hopper, and old Pedro decides to come out with 5 different versions of the firearms training notebook.
Oh yeah, had the same title, same iconography on the covers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Way to go, Amazon, doing your background check, because they make us wait like 3 or 5 days in review, and let old Pedro slide under the fence,
slid under the radar.
It's like, that's it, man.
Yeah,
So,
he did 5 different versions. Hey, you know what? He's probably the guy that gave us the 1-star review after he got bounced off. Hats off to Amazon. They gave us some. I was getting 2 different types of emails. One was optimistic about being able to do something, or at least looking into it. Another one says, "Nah, that doesn't. Your copyright doesn't cover that." I was like, "Okay, I don't know. I'm just a low content author." But at the same time, they did end up taking him down, and it didn't take long. We had made a joke, say, "Dude, this is going to take about 5 seconds, and someone's going to try to do something exactly the same." But
yeah,
and someone may say something like that about us, because there's other things that are out there. I don't think there's anything like this particularly, because this is conformable.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yep.
I could be wrong, but I don't think so. It's very. It really curtail it to what you are doing. It's very personalized in what you can do with it.
But we also enhance technology, right? Or I won't say enhance, but embrace technology. QR codes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to know what's going on? Bam, hit the QR code.
Yeah.
Check it out. So
demo, everything's on there. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So great job this week, Rick, with all the recording and stuff. Whew. Big shout out to Panteo Productions. You got that work. Big shout out to Cobalt Kinetics.
Yep.
Love those folks. Aaron was on the show. Go check out that episode. What a good dude, man. Doing some great stuff with the blasters and really innovative. And I know that's one of the big pieces that you like about the company. But yeah. So again, guys, make sure you go to Manscaped. Check out manscaped.com. Use the promo code OTR20. It's the giving season. Seriously, do yourself a favor and give yourself something nice from Manscaped, and get free shipping too, 20% off. We've been slurping on our Slurpees. I got the orange from Hoist, one of our very favorite companies. local to my
Mm-hmm.
area. Just love those guys and gals. Allie from Alabama, go check out her handle. Does a great job working with us, and super excited to have them on board. I'm also been drinking the 5 Finger Punch pomegranate. I'm all revived and energized. So make sure you check them out. And we've talked about it multiple times, man. Firearms Training Notebook.
Mm-hmm.
I know Cyber Monday's passed and the 20% savings isn't there, right? It's, so I'm sorry if you missed it. We put it out there. If you didn't get the word, you can still go to Amazon and get it. Worth every penny of it. Haven't had any negativity that was fully explained. We haven't had
Mm-hmm.
anything. We've had a couple of low ratings that comes with it. To me, that means that we're kind of made it. We kind of made it to some kind of a level of people actually getting it in their hands. Because if no one's reading it, you wouldn't even have a bad review. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm almost done with my first book. I'm going to have to bust out another one, and I've used all the little blocks and all the
So,
pages too. I'm getting real
yes.
close.
So I had to crack open a fresh one
Oh,
for
okay.
for the video. So
Yeah.
it wasn't that I had chalked it all up, but I didn't want I wanted people to see it clean, right?
Mm-hmm.
So boom, here's first one out of the gate. Yep. And literally as we're going through, man, I'm cranking like probably 4, 5, 6 pages, a day. Just
Wow.
because I've got to go, this is the drill. Oh yeah, dude. Because I mean, this is the drill we're doing. That's all right. I'm shooting an instructional video. I want the data. Why?
Yeah.
I want it for me. I'm selfish, right? Yes, I'm going to show you, but let me see. Hey, man, now I've got all this stuff, right? So I shot an instructional video, which granted isn't, you're not running things at peak performance, if you want to say, because you're trying to demo and show drills and make sure that the viewer understands the point you're trying to give across. But dude, towards the end of it, hey man, let's put this thing on the timer, see where we're sitting at. Boom.
Yeah.
So you want to make things interesting. Do some ready up drills on some 3-inch dots. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
buddy, get you some of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Change up the
So
distances, put the times down, come
yeah,
up with your median time, and
yeah,
then start
yeah.
start seeing the progression, man. It's really that
I
simple.
I ran my improvised plate rack
Oh,
from
nice.
from Grizzly Targets. So
Nice.
Grizzly's got the great hanging system.
Dude, love
So in
those
essence,
guys.
yeah, man, Brooks and those guys doing fantastic job. But
Oh,
basically,
dude.
I I put 4 of them together, kind of nut to butt. Took the C zones off because that shamalama ding dong, stuck up the little plates, and you got to improvise plate rack
Yeah.
because you got to know when you hit it because it goes.
Oh,
I mean,
dude.
that
Their
ring is just
acoustics.
the acoustics is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Um, if you want to do the A zone hangers, if you want to do the full C zone, I mean, they got so many variables that you can do. But yeah, it was good, man.
Yeah.
Great, always great to have Brooks' support and the stuff we're doing.
Oh, yeah. So make sure you check out, we didn't mention that. Go to the industry partners pages on both warhog.com, kellydefense.com. Great stuff. Great stuff for your training, for your for your hygiene.
Mm-hmm. All kinds
Don't
of good
go
stuff,
don't go
man.
to a holiday party stinking and being all hairy. Don't do it. Have some self-respect
All
for
you nose
yourself.
danglers, all you nose danglers out there.
Yeah. Yeah, we got the tree up behind me. Super excited about that.
Nice, buddy.
Yeah, got the fire going. You guys are getting a real treat. And I know Rick's working
Mm-hmm.
on his studio. Can't wait for that big reveal. That's going to be a whole show in itself.
Oh,
It's going to be a whole
dude,
show.
it's gonna be, yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be epic. So
Yeah, it's
we,
going to
we
be
might
great.
do a New Year's reveal. Might be a way to kick off the new year.
Okay. Yeah. Another thing. Another thing coming up next week. Guess what's here again? Guess what's here
Oh,
again? Yes.
could it be some type of competition?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes. The
Hmm.
Army Navy game. Last year
What?
we took an ass whipping. Excuse my French. Kids, earmuffs, took an ass whipping. It was embarrassing. No, I can't say that. The kids, they played their butts off. Navy, hats off to them. That
Hmm.
defense was like the Great Wall of China, man. The Great Wall of the Navy. Bam, stopped us.
Yeah.
The Army, right down the field, scored first series, and then after that, nothing. So maybe we'll have something going on. We haven't reached out to our Navy brethren. I know that we have a lot of Navy guys and gals that come on the show. We had a astrophysicist, for Pete's sake, working on the freaking Mars project.
Yep.
I'm surprised I didn't hear anything from her. She didn't bust our chops about that. But yeah, we need a little redemption. So pulling for Army. This is the only day that we root against the Navy. So that's coming up big for us. But yeah, we'll keep you posted. We're going to do a special on that. So anyway, Rick, great to have you, get with you again. I know you were busy all this week. We didn't get to chit chat very much, but yeah, man, we're going to have some shows coming up, and we got our call on Tuesday, guys and gals.
Yeah, buddy.
Go to the website and join. All right, pal. Let's do it again real soon, buddy.
All right, buddy.